I have just upgraded my version of Vintage Story to the first release candidate. So I'm on 120 release candidate 1. And I've played the pre-release candidates and they're playing pretty well. But there are some very significant changes to elks that have come through in this pre-release candidate. So let's have a quick look at this. One of the things I have read is that you can only own one elk. So let's go and have a look at this. Now I've got my elk now in this area. Let's have a look. Now if you remember, this was the first elk I bought. So, and I brought him back cross country, and here he is. He's even still got my medallion on. But look, creature weight good, medallion spot damage tier 2. Aha, he doesn't think I own him. Now, if I play my flute, can I call him to me? Not interested. And if I look on the map, do you remember that tame elks have got a beautiful green arrow like this? No green arrow. Okay. Right, this elk does not think he belongs to me, even though I paid for him. And he was the first elk I bought. So what about the second elk I bought? Let's go and have a look at him. Let's pop down here and see how he is faring. And I'm saying he because they are both male elks. I understand it's a random distribution, but mine both happen to be male. Hello. It's pouring with rain here. Let's have a look. Aha, look at this. Owned by Ashantin 3. Shows me the health, 30 out of 30. Now the other thing I do want to look at is on the map. Oh look, it doesn't show me where the elk is. Oh, I don't think that's been knocked out. I think that still exists. I think the issue, yeah, there we go. I was too close, look at that. Now I can see where my elk is. I was standing on top of him. So yes, this one is owned by me, it says so. Tamed elk male, owned by you. Fantastic. So, we can now only own one elk. Now, I have asked what happens if our elk dies, and the answer is we can buy another one. At the moment, my trader has stopped offering to sell me elks. Now, this is a trader where I have bought the Resonance Archive map from him for a bronze pickaxe. I have a bronze pickaxe with me. He'll show me any interesting places around here, right? But he's not selling me elks. And on the map, I have already got the Resonance Archive map, which I bought from him. So he knows that I've got that map, but he's not interested in selling me elks. And the reason for that is that the game has changed on the purchase of elks. Let's go back to my house undercover. So you can no longer buy elks from the traders unless you have visited the Resonance Archive. Aha! So this is a new rule. Now I understand that in the long term there's going to be a system in place where we can tame elks, but at the moment that's not the case. So they believed that it was too easy and too cheap to buy elks from the traders, and so they have changed it. Yeah, that's how I felt when I heard. I screamed too. I liked having cheap elks. However, the game is not set for me. So we now have to visit the Resonance Archive to actually get an elk until they get the elk taming up and running. I have to say, that's a bit of a disappointment to me, because I had been thinking that the elk would give me a great way of getting to the Resonance Archive. I mean, my Resonance Archive, as most of them are, is absolutely miles and miles away, as you can see. And I'd been thinking, oh great, buy an elk, get there quickly. No, you have to get there quickly to buy an elk. Okay, a serious warning. This next section contains a lot of spoilers. If you don't want to know some of the real goodies that are coming up, or some of the issues you have to cope with, please don't watch it. If you decide not to watch it, goodbye. And if you decide to watch it, wow. It was always my intention to start a new world when the stable version of 120 comes out. And I'm very glad I've done so, or rather had that intention all along, because there are quite severe warnings about carrying on playing with the stable version when you have already been playing with the pre-releases. So, with that in mind, I went into Creative. I zoomed over to the Resonance Archive. I travelled through the archive, and yes, there are some changes in the Resonance Archive which are superb. And I talked to the Resonator. Now, what is happening in 120 is that we are going to get 2 other structures to start with. And you can see as I talk to this trader, he shows me the different structures and the ones I can get to. He'll say, I've heard of those, I haven't heard of those. But the other thing is, he tells me how much the elk is going to cost in 120. So let's have a look at that discussion I have with the trader. I'm here with my trader, and you can see from the dialogue here, I went to that ruin you mentioned, right? The structure housed a massive device and a library, because he's saying, tell me about it, what did you find? I heard a voice there, that's the Resonator, who bade me seek him out. He gave me a list of names. Now, this is what's fascinating, because I know we've got 2 new structures, but I think that these 5 are going to relate to 5 different structures. So, Nadia, I've never heard of them. The Spoils, I've only heard tell of it. It seems an awful place. Perhaps another option? The Lazaret. Ah, this one I know. A strange place full of stone and monsters. Let me see here. This will show you the way. Look. Letter with directions to the Lazaret. Cardinals. A gathering place, I think. No idea where it is. Quiet. What a peculiar name. I'm afraid I don't know a thing about it. Okay, thank you. Anything else you can tell me about it? Only that it's quite a distance away. You'd best be prepared for a long journey. Perhaps I can help with that. I have an elk I could part with. He would be a loyal companion to you on your journey. As thanks for your information, I'll part with him for only 100 gears. You'll need a saddle and a bridle too. I can't afford that. Okay, now what I want to know is whether the saddle and the bridle come with the elk, or whether they are separate, whether you have to build them. So we'll check on that. But first of all, look at this letter with directions to the Lazaret. Approximate direction added to your world map. Now that's the Resonance Archive. So where is this Lazaret? Got a trader there I hadn't seen. I do not see. Ah, yes I do. Look, there's the Resonance Archive. That's the Lazaret. Oh my word. Wow. Now we can go there. It's been added to our map. The question is, do we want to? I'm just going to pop into creative. Wow, that was 1,000. Good grief. We will throw these away afterwards, don't worry. Hello. You still got that elk? It's yours for 100 gears. You'll need a saddle. I've got 100 rusty gears. Have you got a saddle and bridle with you? No, I don't. Okay. Oh, well, I can't sell it to you without that. You'll need a saddle and bridle to ride it. We wouldn't just want it wandering away with, would we? Right, that answers that. You have to bring the saddle and the bridle. Wow. Right, I think that this is somewhat excessive. Vomiting rusty gears. Or let's just do that. Okay, I am keeping the map to the Lazaret in case I feel I want to go and have a look at it. Let's go back home with the knowledge that we now have to make a saddle and a bridle to take with us to purchase our elk. And actually, that comes as no surprise at all. Because frankly, if we've got to the stage where we can dominate the Resonance Archive, get to the library, etc., we've certainly been able to make a saddle and a bridle to get our elk home. So, oh my goodness, so much knowledge. So now we know. We know that getting an elk is a lot more difficult at the moment until elk taming gets underway, which I doubt will be in the 120 update. We know that to buy an elk, we actually have to visit the Resonance Archive, we have to get into the library, and we have to talk to the resonator. Once we have talked to the resonator, we know that we can go back to our treasure traders and buy an elk, but we also know that that elk is going to cost us 100 gears. Wow. Now I've asked whether something happens to this elk. Do we have to go back to the resonator? Do we have to sort of go through that whole thing again? Apparently the answer is no. Once we've actually talked to the resonator, we can buy as many elks as we like. So therefore, if one falls down a hole or gets killed by a bear, you can replace your elk. But remember the beginning of this video, you can only own one elk at a time. Interesting. The other thing is that I hadn't realised, but going to the first Resonance Archive and talking to the resonator will give us the maps to the rest of the new structures. It's all very exciting. I can see that we're all going to be saving up our gear. So lots of exploring, lots of trading, and it does give us a goal to get the elk. Once we've got the elk, I presume we can use the elk to go and visit the other big structures that have come into play in this update. It's all getting very exciting, isn't it? But my goodness, what a lot of work we're going to have to do. This is not going to be an easy game. The beginning has slowed down. It's not going to be a simple game, and you're going to have to understand it. There's no way you can play this game by intuition. It's pretty good with the help menu. It's pretty good with different things. But this is a game where you're going to have to know quite a bit about it to get to the end, I think. What a lot of fun. Wow. I'm pretty taken aback by all that. I was very taken aback also by some of the lovely changes to the first Resonance Archive. there's one particular area that's been changed considerably, and it is fantastic. So much to look forward to in the final stable version, my friends. Bye bye.